I never expected my family farm would put me at war with an entire HOA, but when they claimed my property was an unauthorized botanical garden, I discovered a shocking secret. My grandfather's old hydroelectric generator was the neighborhood's only backup power source. What would you do if you controlled whether your enemies could keep their lights on? The letter hit me like a punch to the gut. Violation notice. Unauthorized operation of a public botanical garden. I read it twice, wondering if it was some kind of joke. My family had owned this farm for 3 generations, long before the fancy houses of Maplewood Creek Estates sprouted up around us like mushrooms after a summer rain. I stepped onto the porch, coffee mug in hand, and surveyed my 5 acres. Sure, I had vegetable gardens, fruit trees, a small greenhouse, and a few beehives, but a public botanical garden? That was absurd. The phone rang. It was my neighbor, Mark, who lived in the only other original farmhouse left in the area. Eli, did you get one too? He asked, voice tight. A violation notice? Something about running an unlicensed botanical garden. I sighed. Yeah. They want us out, Mark said. Green Sky Developers is trying to buy up everything around here. They want more condos with rustic charm. Our land is standing in the way. As I hung up, a silver SUV rolled slowly past my property. It stopped. A woman with meticulously styled hair and oversized sunglasses stepped out, holding a tablet. She began taking photos of my front yard. I walked down the gravel driveway. Can I help you? She jumped slightly, then composed herself. Monica Whitmore, Maplewood Creek HOA. I'm documenting violations. I'm not part of your HOA. I replied, trying to stay calm. My family's farm predates your development by decades. Her smile was tight. A common misconception. When Maplewood Creek was incorporated, all properties within township boundaries became subject to HOA covenants. That's not how property rights work. She pointed to my greenhouse. Unauthorized structure. And those solar panels? Not allowed. Your rain barrels are visually inconsistent. You have 30 days to comply or face fines. She drove away without another word. I noticed people peeking through curtains. One older man gave me a sympathetic wave before pulling his blinds. That night, a spring storm rolled in. I sat on the porch as rain hammered the metal roof. The power flickered and died across the neighborhood. But not at my house. My grandfather had installed a hydroelectric generator back in the 1950s, tapping the creek that ran through our land. Over the years, I'd maintained it and added solar as backup. My light stayed on. My phone buzzed. A message from Mark. Power's out everywhere except your place. Did you know your generator feeds the subdivision's water pump backup? What? I had no idea. Another text. Found old maps at the township office. We need to talk. Lightning lit the sky as I watched headlights creep toward my driveway. Monica's SUV stopped at my mailbox. She stared at my lit windows before driving off. At dawn, I was already digging through my grandfather's old roll-top desk. I found it. Original deeds, water rights, generator permits. All in order. Just then, a convoy of cars pulled up. Monica stepped out with a man in a suit and others carrying clipboards. They approached my porch. This is Mr. Langston from the county. We're here about your unpermitted power source, Monica said. I held up the documents. Everything was approved in 1952. HOA covenants prohibit private power generation, she snapped. I'm not in your HOA. A thin man in wire-rimmed glasses stepped forward. There's a clause from 1985. Your property might fall under HOA jurisdiction. My phone buzzed again. Mark, don't sign anything. I'm bringing the maps. I want to see that clause, I said. And I'll consult my attorney. Thunder boomed overhead. Mr. Langston suggested rescheduling. They scurried back to their vehicles as rain returned. Mark arrived with a cardboard tube. They know. Your generator powers the emergency system for the entire subdivision. Look, we spread township maps on my kitchen table. Mark pointed to a thin blue line connecting my generator to the Maplewood Creek pump station. They tapped your power during the 70s energy crisis. No easement. No compensation. As another blackout rolled through, only my house remained lit. Tyler said, Northstar can't build without water redundancy. You're standing in the way of millions. The next day, I visited the county records office. Diane, an elderly clerk, remembered my grandfather. During the blizzard of '78, your farm kept emergency services going for 3 days, she said. There was supposed to be a formal agreement, but after he died, they just kept using the power. When I returned, a news van was parked near my mailbox. A reporter, Jessica Tran, was interviewing my elderly neighbor, Mr. Hargrove. "Are you the owner?" she asked. "Yes. Your power system kept his wife's oxygen machine running during the outage," she explained. Monica arrived, furious. "This is private property. No media allowed." Jessica stood firm. "We're not on HOA land." Mr. Hargrove pointed to a box on his garage. "The developers said it was connected to emergency power. Been working for 15 years. Jessica turned to Monica. "Is the HOA aware they've used this power without compensation?" Monica sputtered. "This is complicated." I explained the history and showed the maps. Jessica asked, "Would you do an interview? I'll need legal advice. But I can show you the system." As the news segment aired, my phone lit up with an HOA board meeting request. That afternoon, Mark brought his cousin Julia, an environmental law attorney. "They've used your infrastructure for decades without legal right," she said. "We're going to that meeting. And you're bringing this." She pointed to the manual override for the emergency power feed. "I won't cut power," I said, thinking of Mr. Hargrove's wife. "But you can remind them what's at stake." That night, storm alerts lit up phones. Neighbors messaged me, worried. Jessica's news piece ended with, "Who really has the power in Maplewood Creek? The HOA, or the farm they tried to shut down?" As I left for the meeting, I stood on the porch, torn. My finger hovered over the generator app. Would I let them go dark, or take the high road? HOA members arrived in force. Monica led the charge. "You've gone too far," she shouted. "We're suing you for utility interference." I calmly handed her a folder. Deeds, permits, water rights. Mr. Clark, the oldest board member, squinted through thick glasses. "These rights predate our development." Monica's face reddened. "Impossible. North Star misled you," I said, "just like they promised kickbacks." I showed emails Mark had obtained. Several board members had been promised perks in future condos. "That's public record," I added. Clark's brow furrowed. "You hid this from the board?" Just then, Monica's daughter, Rachel, a college student, showed up. "This farm is famous," she said. "Our professor uses it as a sustainability model." Monica blanched. Rachel added, "We're applying for a grant to fund expansion." Arguments erupted among board members. Clark was furious. Others looked stunned. "This isn't over," Monica hissed. The next day, at a packed town hall meeting, I presented a proposal, a cooperative energy project, expanding my grandfather's system for the whole neighborhood. Rachel announced her university would contribute a $250,000 grant. North Star's executives protested, but Mark revealed their history of failed projects. A vote was held. The result, 82% in favor of the cooperative. As people filed out, many stopped to shake my hand. Volunteers offered support. Clark pledged legal help. Monica lingered, looking lost. "It's not too late to join us," I said. "You humiliated me. You tried to take our land. I'd rather move forward." 6 months later, Phase 1 was complete. Turbines spun in the creek. The old barn became an education center. Garden plots lined the southern field. Monica pulled up one morning, carrying seedlings. "Plot 42, right?" "Next to Rachel's," I said. "This wasn't my idea." "Welcome to the garden, neighbor." She hesitated, then took the trowel. Above us, new power lines hummed. She looked around. "Someone offered to buy my house yesterday," she said. "They want to live here because of this." "Are you going to sell?" She looked at her daughter, the creek, the barn. "No. Some things are worth more than money." I nodded. My grandfather would have approved.